Hello, my guest today is known for crossing swords with the Trump administration on the regulation of big tech, and more recently for actually coming under a US travel ban. Thierry Breton was the EU Commissioner for the Internal Market from 2019 to 2024, where he had a major role in driving the Digital Services Act and the Digital Markets Act. He and four other figures were hit with US travel bans at the end of last year, prompting Thierry Breton to denounce what he called a wind of McCarthyism blowing again. He's a former Minister for the Economy, Finance and Industry here in France and a prominent commentator on political and economic matters. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Let's start with Hungary and this stunning victory by Peter Magyar and the defeat of Viktor Orban. What do you think is going to change for Europe?
Well, first, what will change for Hungary? Because obviously it has been an extraordinary support to Peter Magyar. I understand that he will have more than two-thirds of the parliament, which is extremely important because he may be able to change even the constitution or some of the constitutions that has to be changed to put back, something which is extremely important for us in Europe, rule of law. And yes, it's true that some of my former colleagues and probably actual colleagues also today identify that it was many aspects where the former administration under Viktor Orban did not respect rule of law. And it is extremely important because for us, of course, in Europe, you can vote whatever you want, of course. Everyone is totally free and we never interfere. And when I say we understand others interfere. And needless to say, who interfered last week in these elections, and not only the Russians. But still, for us, what is important is that rule of law is definitely our core value in Europe. It is also our cement between us. And I understand that Peter Magyar is willing to correct a lot of weaknesses, including, by the way, for you, journalists. It was a big issue that we have identified, and I have identified. Journalists were not able to talk freely. Some were chased, some were listened to. I mean, it was a big issue. So now, the good news that he is willing to change this. And of course, then he will do what he wants to do, what he believes is important for his people. But for us, what is important is that all member states follow our rule of law, because this is what makes us stronger together, and it is definitely the core of our project.
So rule of law, obviously crucial. But to have a closer look at what young Hungarians hope will happen now, let's have a look at this report from our own Clovis Casali. He filed this report in the wake of that election result.
Election posters are still up, but Hungarians already know who will soon be governing. Peter Magyar and his TISA party triumphed in the parliamentary ballot. Many students of this Budapest university are relieved.
I think the young people in Hungary are very happy because the corruption and the democracy's crisis will over.
We changed the system. Orban's system was in 16 years. We grew up in that system, and we're really happy because it's changed a lot.
Incumbent Prime Minister Viktor Orban enjoyed support from Moscow and Washington, while Magyar, on the other hand, promised a stronger partnership with Brussels. These two students are proud to be part of the European Union, even if the topic has caused arguments in Edmund's family.
My father, in 16 years, was Orban voter. My father, on the elections day, he was outraged. He's not speaking to me. It's really hard, but I know. That was why I started to learn, to go to university and be an activist.
Orban's far-right government accuses Magyar of planning to send the country's youth to fight Russians in Ukraine.
Look at that poster.
The poster is on display across Hungary.
There is Peter Magyar and Volodymyr Zelensky, and the subtitle is "They are dangerous. We have to stop them." It's the symbol of Orban propaganda.
Polls suggest that nearly two-thirds of young Hungarians chose to back Peter Magyar. It proved crucial in helping him get that landslide victory and could also explain the record turnout of nearly 80%. Young Hungarians now hoping that the country's economic situation will improve with less corruption and stronger ties with Europe.
Clovis Casali reporting from Budapest. Well, I'm here with Thierry Breton, former EU Commissioner. Let's move to some other topics now. So on the Middle East and the war in Iran, you've said that as long as Europe isn't able to exert influence, it's going to continue to suffer the consequences of American decisions. So I already have two questions out of that. One is, what should Europe have done differently? And also, what should it do now to manage the fallout, particularly on energy prices?
Well, first, again, for this war, of course, we have not been informed or neither consulted. I mean, it has been a unilateral decision by President Trump, and of course, he did what he thought he had to do. But it was not our decision, and again, it was not then our war. We understand why Benjamin Netanyahu asked him to help him, because of course we understand that the Iranians are willing to destroy Israel, and for many years. So we understand his position. The position of Donald Trump belongs to him and belongs to the United States. For us, what it means three things. We have many European citizens and French citizens in the region. So it was important to come and to be able to support them if needed. By the way, we had one of our member states which have been impacted by this war, received missiles from Iran in Cyprus. So it's important because under Article 42.7, we need to help when a country is under attack. And yes, this country has been under attack. This is why, because for us, keeping our commitment is mandatory. I repeat, our commitment is mandatory. Trust for us is key. It's not where we were in the planet. For us, it will always remain our compass. And then we came with our aircraft carrier, with many European boats, to again just protect Cyprus, which has been under attack. And the third point, that we have many, let's say, partnerships, security partnerships with members in the Gulf. So we were here to support them because for us, when we have a defense partnership, we don't bargain, we just fulfill.
Just on the energy question, what is the solution then? Because obviously these energy prices are going up. By the way, airlines are saying that they're already cancelling flights. So this could be quite disastrous for Europeans. And I think you've argued that the question of value-added tax, VAT, is crucial.
Well, I mean, of course, member states are making money because, of course, since the price increase, and most of them add added value tax on it. I said that it is totally unfair that they're making money for that they have to give back the additional money that they make, and especially for the one who need the most support and help. We can think about farmers, we can think about truck drivers, we can think about anyone who is directly impacted. But personally, I think, and I hope, but I think I will not be wrong, that we are close to an end to this war. We are still now in the process of ceasefire. Within this ceasefire, there are discussions, of course, between Iran and the United States, and I strongly believe that finally we will find, hopefully, an agreement between the two countries. And I think it will be in the interest, of course, of the United States, and especially because what we see here in Europe, in terms of price of gasoline, inflations, price of interest rate is impacted heavily by US friends. So I hope that we will be able to come back soon in a normality.
So to understand you correctly on VAT, should governments reduce VAT or they should direct the earnings from VAT to help farmers, for example?
For me, direct the additional VAT, let's say amount that they get through VAT to the one needed. Because again, this increase is artificial. We still produce a lot. When it will be over, we'll be able to go back in normality. So I really think that we need, in this interim period, to make sure that no member states, at least in Europe, can make money on this and give back immediately the additional amount that they can get from VAT.
Just a final point. I mentioned that you came under this US travel ban at the end of December. Were you actually planning, has it affected you? Were you supposed to go to the US or anything?
Look,
is it symbolic?
I spent maybe half of my life in the US, and I love the country, and I still continue to love the country. This is a fantastic country of opportunity. I did many, many things. I started my own startup when I was young in the US. I met my wife in the US, by the way. I was leading big companies. I was a professor in Harvard. I made many things. I still have many, many friends in the US. Of course, do I miss to see my friends? Yes. Of course, I can't talk to them, so I hope that I will be able to come to see them quickly. But you know, my case is not important. What I understand is that I have been, unfortunately, banned or designed as a mastermind behind DSA and also Digital Act.
As a symbol of something.
Which is, you know, I just did my job. It's not at all against anyone. It's not against China. It's not against Singapore. It's not against the US. This law is the same for everyone. It has been, by the way, voted at 90% by our MEPs, our Member of Parliament. It has been voted by 27 countries. So this is not Thierry Breton. This is Europe. So I understand that behind my case, it's Europe, of course, which is targeted. And I really hope that we will come in normality, because there is a huge misunderstanding of what we have done together in our own European digital space.
On a more personal note, though, of course, President Macron of France strongly supported you when you came under that travel ban, but apparently the European Commission and Ursula von der Leyen, not so much.
That's your appreciation. That's your appreciation, and maybe I share your view.
All right, we'll end it on that note. Thank you so much for being my guest, Thierry Breton, former EU Commissioner for the Internal Market. Glad you could join us for this edition of Talking Europe.